CIT 1123 instructional packet tracer video 681. It's a good video, a good lab. I don't know if it'll be a good video. We'll find out. Good lab though. We got the internet connected to router 2. Router 2 has 3 internal networks that it needs to supply internet for. So we've got the LAN 1, LAN 2, and LAN 3, and those have address ranges as /24s. Each are /24. So we're going to set up an access list to identify each one of those 3 networks. We'll then use one of the public IP addresses that's available for a NAT pool. So we'll use a single address in a NAT pool, which is kind of weird, but it does work. And then we'll do a static NAT translation, and we'll set up all the interfaces, and we're done. So it's not too bad. I liked it when I first looked at it. So let's take a look at what we got here. So we got 3 networks. We got the 10.0, the 20.0, the 30.0. They're all 192.168s. And the way they want us to write this out, if you look at the instructions, and we come down here and we get, it says set up a named ACL, and we're going to call it R2NAT. And it's going to have 3 lines, one for each one of the LANs. So we're going to punch the LANs up individually in that named ACL. So it gives us a little bit of named ACL practice, which is kind of good because we just did ACLs in the last chapter. So it's me IP access list standard, and then we're going to name that bad boy, and we are going to name it R2NAT, R2NAT, R2NAT. If we name it something else, we're not going to get credit for it. So we're going to do permit statements for those 3 networks. So 192.168.10.0, 0.0.0.255. You know what? Let's just hit the up arrow. And let's change that from 10 to 20. And let's do it again. And we'll go, let's go from 20 to 30. Boom. That thing's done. All right, good. Exit. All right, next thing, we're going to make a NAT pool. We're going to call this R2 pool. And we're going to use the first address in this range, 209.165, 202.128. So we're going to use 129, and we're going to make 129 the beginning and the end of the range, which is, like I said, a pool of 1, which is, generally there's not a pool of 1. A pool means more than 1. But in this case, we're going to do a pool of 1. So IP NAT pool. We're going to call it R2 pool, R2 POOL. Great. We are going to start with 209.165.202.129. That's our first address, and our second address is 209.165.202.129. Again, holy cow. And we'll do net mask, and that's a /30. And that one's done. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and put them together. IP NAT inside source list. Access list is called R2NAT. So we'll go R2NAT. Pool is called R2 pool, R2 POOL. And we're going to set this for overload. And that's that. Cool. All right, that's done. Next thing, configure NAT with ACL and NAT pool. Oh, wait, we just did that. Configure static NAT translation to the local IP PKA. Okay, so that's this server here. So we're going to do a static translation. I don't know what happened to the labs with the port forwards, but they're not here. We're just going to do a static NAT translation. So let's go ahead and do that. So nothing we have to do to prepare for this other than write it in. So IP NAT inside source static inside address first. So 192.168.20.254. Outside address second, 202.130. Works for me. Enter. Done. That one's done. That was easy. Next thing we need to do is configure the interfaces for inside-outside. So there's 1 outside, there's 3 insides. You know my favorite way to do this. Config T, do show IP int brief. I can see all my interfaces. I'm just going to go straight down through them. So fast Ethernet 0. So int fa 0/0, and that is IP NAT inside. because that's got an inside address. It's got a private address range. INT S000, INT S0/0/0, IP NAT inside. INT S010, no, sorry, 001, 0/0/1, oops, 1, IP NAT inside. And the last one, INT S010, 0/1/0, IP NAT outside. And that's it. This is done. This totally works. You can test it if you want. My point scores are 100, and that's the final NAT video for this section. See you in Module 7.